Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Mindful Knots. In today's tutorial, I will teach you all how to crochet a shrug with bell sleeves. This is a beginner-friendly tutorial. I take it step by step. The materials you will need are listed above. I hope you all enjoy the tutorial, and let's get into it. Okay, so to begin, you will create a slip knot. To create a slip knot, you will fold the yarn onto itself like this. And then you're going to take this loop part and then kind of twist it to create a circle. And you'll come in through the back of that circle there. And you're going to grab the shorter strand and pull through the loop. And that creates a slip knot. You'll put your hook up on the loop there and make it tighter on the hook. To begin, you will chain up 80. To chain, what you'll do is go under the yarn and hook it, and then pull through the loop on your hook. And that is a chain. See this little thing right there? That's a chain, and you have one loop on your hook. Okay, so to do another chain, you'll just go under the yarn and hook it, and pull through the loop on your hook. So that's your second chain. You will continue this process until you have the desired amount of chains. For this project, I will chain up 80. This chain will be your neckline. Okay, so I'll meet you back once you have that amount of chains. Okay, so once you have your 80 chains, what you're going to do is, without twisting it, go back to the very beginning of the chain there. Make sure it's all facing the same way. And twist it if necessary so that it is all straight. So then by the time you get back here, we are going to slip stitch. So to slip stitch, we will insert our hook through the first chain there. So for the chain, you're going to want to go through both of the top stitches there, and then leave behind this bottom stitch, so if that makes sense. So what you're going to do is kind of find the top V of that stitch. What you're going to do is insert your hook through both of those. See how it isolated the V, and then below it, it has that one stitch. Okay, so that's how you want to go into the chain there. Okay, so what you'll do is yarn over, so you'll go under the yarn and hook it. That's a yarn over, pull through the chain, and your loop on the hook. Okay, and then that leaves you with one loop left, and then that combined both of these ends here. So by doing that, you basically just created like a big circle. This is going to be your neck hole, so make sure that this is the desired amount that you want. You can adjust it if necessary by taking some in or out. If you are going to adjust it, I do recommend keeping it at an even number. And you'll see why here in a bit. Okay, so for this next row, we are going to chain up 2. So you'll go under the yarn and hook it, and pull through the loop on your hook. This does not count as a stitch. This is essentially just kind of working your hook up taller, so that when we start these stitches, we are at the height that we need, if that makes sense. Okay, so for every chain for this round, we will just insert 1 double crochet into each of the chains. So to do that, to do a double crochet, what we'll do is yarn over, so you'll go under the yarn and hook it, insert your hook through the chain, and remember we want to go through the top 2 loops there. And then you'll yarn over again, so you'll go under the yarn and hook it, pull through the chain, and that leaves you with 3 loops on your hook right now. So then you'll yarn over again, go under the yarn and hook it, pull through the 2 loops, leaving you with 2 loops on your hook. So then you'll yarn over again, your last time yarning over, and pull through the last 2 loops. leaving you with one loop, and that is a double crochet. To do that again, we'll just yarn over, insert our hook through the chain, we'll yarn over again, so go under the yarn and hook it, pull through the chain, leaves you with 3 loops on your hook, so you'll yarn over again, pull through 2, leaving you with 2, and then you'll do the yarn over the last time and pull through the last 2. And that is your double crochet. So you'll just continue that until the end of the chain here. Just insert 1 double crochet into each of the stitches, and then I will meet you guys back. Okay, so I double crocheted into every chain. So now I'm back at the beginning, and I'll show you guys how to close it off here. But first we're going to make sure that this is not twisted at all. Make sure it's all laying flat and going the same way. And then once you are back at the beginning, what you'll do is skip over that first chain 2, and then find that first double crochet, and then we will slip stitch that double crochet. So what we'll do is insert our hook through the top of that first double crochet we created. We will yarn over and pull through the stitch and your loop on the hook. And that closed off the round there. So right now I would check to make sure that this is the length that you would want your neck hole to be. Just kind of slip this over your head and like adjust it around your collarbone, shoulder area, and make sure that it's where you want it to lay. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of math, and depending on if you changed up how many chains in the beginning, your math will be a little different. So I'm going to need to create shoulder areas and then a front and back kind of panel, if you will. So what you'll do is kind of measure in about 2 inches from each side, and you're going to count how many stitches that is. For me, it's going to be about 15 stitches that I'm going to pinch off here, and that will be the shoulder part on either side, so 15 stitches. And because we have 80 stitches, so we'll minus 15, so that's 30 altogether. So when you take 80 minus 30, then you have 50 stitches to work with. So we'll divide that number by 2, and that will be your front and back panel. So the front portion will be 25 stitches, and then the back will be 25 stitches. Okay, so to begin, we're going to chain up 2. This does not count as a stitch. And then I will insert 1 double crochet into the next 15 stitches. We are going to section off the first little shoulder part. So you'll just insert 1 double crochet into each of the stitches until you have 15 of them. And remember for this design not to have like really tight tension. Make sure to keep this pretty loose so that your stitches are kind of loose and airy and kind of lacy like, because you want to be able to see through the stitches. You want it to be not very tight stitches at all, because then it won't really have that lacy look. Okay, so I'll meet you back once you have 15 stitches. Okay, so once you have 15 stitches, what you'll do is add in a chain 1. So what you'll do is yarn over and pull through your loop on the hook, and that is a chain. And then you'll just continue. So now we're going to do the front panel. So we determined that was 25 stitches, so we'll just insert 1 double crochet into the next 25 stitches. Since this is repetitive, I will meet you guys back after 25 stitches. Okay, so I just did the 25 stitches there. So now what we'll do is add in another chain 1 to kind of separate the front panel from the shoulder part. So what we'll do is just chain up one, and then we'll continue with the double crochets. So now we're starting on another shoulder part. So we're going to insert one double crochet into the next 15 stitches. We're going to do the same amount as the other shoulder. Okay, so I'll meet you back once you have 15 double crochets. Okay, so I did 15 stitches there, so now what I'll do is add in another chain one, and this will separate the shoulder from the back here. And the back will be the exact same as the front, so we will need to put in 25 double crochets. Okay, so I did my last 25 double crochets, so now we're back at the beginning. And what we'll do is add in the last chain one to separate the back from this shoulder over here. And to close off, we will slip stitch, so we're going to skip that first chain two, find that first double crochet, and slip stitch the stitch there. Okay, so by doing that, we kind of sectioned off the shoulder parts here, and then we created the front and back sections. Okay, so the next handful of rows are going to be pretty much the exact same premise. So what we'll do is chain up two. This does not count as a stitch. What you will do is just insert one double crochet into each of the stitches until you get to that chain one part. Okay, so just insert one double crochet into each of the stitches until you get to the chain one, and I will meet you back. So what we'll do in that chain one space is insert a double crochet. Just insert it right through the space there. And then you will chain up one and insert another double crochet into that chain one space. So essentially we're kind of making like a little corner, if you will, or a little V-stitch into that space. And then you'll just continue the same, so you'll insert one double crochet into each of the stitches for the front panel or the front side of the sweater. So we will need to put in 25 double crochets. You'll just insert one double crochet into each of the stitches until you get to the other chain one over here, and then I will meet you back. Okay, so once you have done that, we are back at the chain one space, and you're just going to do the exact same thing as you did for the other chain one space. You'll insert a double crochet, you'll chain up one, and then you'll insert another double crochet into the same space. So essentially you're just creating a V-stitch in that chain one space. And then you'll continue the process the same. You'll just insert one double crochet into each of the stitches until you get to the chain one space, and then you'll insert a V-stitch. Since this row is pretty repetitive, I will do the rest of it off camera, and then I will meet you back at the end of the round. Okay, so I did that all the way around, and I ended with a V-stitch in the last chain one space there. And to close off, I'm going to skip over that chain two from the beginning of the round there, and then I will slip stitch the first double crochet we created to close off. Okay, so once you have like established your collar line there, what you're going to start doing is actually start turning your work in between each row and kind of working back along where you just created. And by doing this, your seam will stay straight and it won't start curving. To begin, we will chain up two. And just like the previous rows, we will insert one double crochet into each of the stitches until we reach a chain one space, which you see we've already reached one. So what we'll do is just insert a double crochet into that chain 1 space, chain 1, and then another double crochet into the same chain 1 space. Okay, so each row the V-stitch is inserting into each other, okay? And then you'll just repeat that all the way around. Just insert 1 double crochet into each of the stitches, and then insert a V-stitch into each of the chain 1 spaces. Okay, so we have reached the chain 1 space there. It's kind of hidden, so make sure to keep an eye out for it. So now that we're at this chain 1 space, what we'll do is create another V-stitch inside that V-stitch. So that chain 1, we'll just insert a double crochet, chain 1, and then another double crochet into that same space. Okay, and then you'll continue the process the same. Just insert 1 double crochet into each of the stitches until you get to the next chain 1 space. Okay, so now we're at another chain 1 space, so you'll just do the exact same thing. You'll insert a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the same space. Okay, and then just continue inserting 1 double crochet into each stitch. And that is how you will finish out this round. And since it's repetitive, I'll do it off camera and I will meet you guys back. You will continue repeating that row for 10 rows. So a total of 10 rows starting from the top. Okay, so I just did 10 rows all together. Okay, so now what we'll do is start the sleeve portion. So to do that, we will do the same thing we've been doing, chaining up 2 and turning our work and working in the opposite direction as the previous round. And then what we'll do is do the same process and work until we get to the nearest chain 1 space. So go ahead and just insert 1 stitch or 1 double crochet into each of the stitches until you come to the first chain 1, and we are going to be doing something slightly different. So I'll go ahead and meet you guys back once we have reached a chain 1 space. Okay, so I have double crocheted until I have reached this first chain 1 space there. So what I will do is insert 1 double crochet into that space, and then I will chain up 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so this piece is upside down right now, so the neck hole is right here. And we're starting on our first sleeve over there, and then the other sleeve will come off of this section. So because we started the new round right here and we double crocheted until we got to our nearest chain 1 space, what we're going to do is skip right on over. So we're not going to crochet across anymore and come back around. We are actually going to kind of ignore this half over here, and then this chain 5 right here, you're going to immediately just start working into this chain 1 space so that we can start creating the sleeve over here. Okay, so now that we have chained up 5, what we will do, see, we're just going to immediately double crochet into that chain 1. And by double crocheting into that chain 1, we have essentially connected the sleeve here. We created a circle for the sleeve. And then you're just going to leave this open over here, and we'll get back to the other sleeve on this side. But right now we're just going to focus over here. Okay, so now that the double crochet is into that chain 1 there, you'll just finish this out by double crocheting 1 in each stitch until the beginning here. See, that's where we chained up 2 and started the new round. Okay, so we are back at the beginning. What we're going to do is skip over that chain 2, and then that first double crochet we will slip stitch it so that the round can finish there. Okay, so now we're just going to continue with the sleeve portion. We're going to be doing the same method of turning our work back and forth. So before we begin the next row, we'll go ahead and turn it and work back in the opposite direction there. So we will begin by chaining up 2 and then inserting 1 double crochet into each of the stitches until you get to the chain 5. Okay, so you're just going to insert 1 double crochet into each of these stitches, and then I'll meet you back over here. Okay, so now that you have your chain 5 there, what you will do is just insert 1 double crochet into each of these chains. Make sure to go in through the top of that stitch there and just insert 1 double crochet into each of the chains here. And because you chained up 5, you should have 5 double crochets inserted into this chain here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that chain, and then you'll just finish up this round by inserting 1 double crochet into each of the stitches. Okay, so I double crocheted all the way around, and now I'm back at the beginning, and again we're just going to skip over that chain 2 and then slip stitch to close. We're going to be repeating that same row by just chaining up 2. Make sure to turn your work in the opposite direction so that your seam stays straight, and then you'll just insert 1 double crochet into each of the stitches. Each round should have the same stitch count. Okay, so for this next row, we are going to turn our work. We will chain up 3, and this does not count as a stitch. For this round, we will insert 1 treble crochet into each stitch. Okay, so in that first stitch, you'll insert a treble crochet. To do that, you will yarn over twice. Insert your hook through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch. You have 4 loops on your hook there. So you'll yarn over again, you'll pull through the first 2, leaving you with 3 loops on your hook. So then you'll yarn over again and pull through 2, leaving you with 2 loops. Yarn over one last time, pull through 2 loops, leaving you with 1 loop, and that is a treble crochet. And then you'll just chain up 1, skip the next stitch there, and then the next stitch you'll insert another treble crochet. So I'll walk you through that again. You're going to yarn over twice, insert your hook through that stitch, yarn over again, pull through the stitch, 4 loops on the hook there, yarn over again, pull through 2 loops, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over again, pull through 2 loops, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over again, pull through 2 loops, leaving you with 1. That means you're done with the stitch. Okay, so those are treble crochets. And that is the pattern for this round. You're just going to chain up 1, skip the next stitch, and then the next stitch you'll insert a treble crochet. You will just repeat that all the way around, and then I will meet you guys back. Okay, so I did that all the way around, and now we're back at the end here. So what we'll do is slip stitch that first treble crochet we created, and we'll skip right over that chain 3. We're just going to act like that doesn't exist. And that's how we'll close up that row. Okay, so for this next row, we're going to turn our work again. We will chain up 2. Again, that does not count as a stitch. So in that chain 1 space, we're going to insert a double crochet. And then in that next stitch, we'll insert a double crochet. And that is your repeat for this round. You're just going to insert a double crochet into the chain 1 space. And then you'll double crochet into the next stitch. And you will repeat that around. This round is just going to be 1 full round of double crochets. Okay, so I did that all the way around. We're going to insert an extra stitch, so we're going to insert an increase. So this last stitch here, I'm actually going to insert an extra stitch in the same stitch there. So it's 2 stitches going into that same stitch. And then to close off, we're going to skip over that first chain 2 from the beginning, find the first double crochet there, and slip stitch. Okay, so each row you are adding an extra stitch. Alright, again we're just going to turn our work. And then we will chain up 3. This does not count as a stitch. And then you will repeat this row. So this next stitch here, we will insert a treble crochet. Chain up 1, skip the next stitch, and then insert a treble crochet. Okay, and then you'll just repeat that around. Chain up 1, skip a stitch, and then insert a treble crochet. And I'll meet you at the end of this round here. So I did that all the way around, and now I'm back at the end here. Technically, we did insert our treble crochet into the last stitch there. So we are going to force another chain 1, even though there's not another stitch to skip there. So that is our increase there, is that chain 1. That's us adding an extra stitch for that round. And then we'll just find the first treble crochet from the beginning and slip stitch. Okay, so for the sleeves, what you want to happen is each row you're going to get an extra stitch, and these chain 1s count as a stitch. So each row you're going to be gaining 1 stitch if you're going around and counting. Okay, so For the next row, you're just going to repeat this row right there. So you're just going to chain up 2, turn your work and work into the opposite direction, and then insert one double crochet into each of the stitches. So we will begin by inserting a double crochet into that chain 1 space. Then we'll insert a double crochet into the next stitch there, and then repeat around. So you'll just insert 1 double crochet into the chain 1 double crochet into the stitch. And remember to add an extra stitch at the end, because each round of the sleeve we want to insert 1 more. So each round is increasing by 1 stitch. Okay, so I double crocheted into every stitch, and now I'm at the end here. So this is the last stitch, so I'll insert my last double crochet. But as I said before, each row we want an extra stitch. So in that last stitch there, we're going to force another double crochet into the same spot. So there's 2 into the same stitch there. And then we'll close off the same by slip stitching the first stitch. And that is the pattern for the sleeve there. So you are just going to alternate between both of these rows. Okay, so I repeated those 2 rows until I got to row 24 here. And what you'll do is just cut off your yarn there. And then what you'll do is yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook, and pull tightly. And that is how you fasten off. So if you're counting up from the armpit, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down the sleeve, I ended with row 24. Okay, so now that that sleeve is done, what you'll do is come over to the opposite end here, and then you'll find that chain 1 space right here, and then you're going to attach a new piece of yarn. I attached it by using just a simple knot. Okay, so now what we'll do is kind of turn our work upside down like this. So now what we'll do is insert our hook through that chain 1 space, yarn over, and pull through to get it started so you have a loop on the hook there. What you'll do is chain up 2, and that does not count as a stitch. And then in that chain 1 space, you're going to insert a double crochet. Okay, so after you have a double crochet into that chain 1 space, what you'll do is chain up 5. And then what you'll do is kind of come over here and then grab that other chain 1 space on the opposite end of your top, and then you'll work a double crochet into that chain 1 space. Okay? Okay, so by doing that, you have created a sleeve, a little hole for your sleeve there. Okay, so now we're just going to kind of turn our work a little bit. Okay, so now what you'll do is just finish out this row by double crocheting all the way around into every stitch until you get back to the first stitch that you started. Okay, so the next stitch there, you will insert a double crochet, and then just insert 1 double crochet into each stitch, until you get back to the original first stitch or the chain one space that you started in. Okay, so I'm back at that chain one where we attached the new piece of yarn. See, there's that that chain two and then that first double crochet there. So what we'll do is slip stitch the double crochet to end the round there to close it up. And then you're just going to repeat what you did for the other sleeve for this sleeve. So you're just going to rewind and repeat those same rows in the exact same manner. Make sure each row has the same stitch count as the other sleeve. Once you have your other side done, once you have done your sleeve the exact same way as the other side, your shrug is complete. I hope you all enjoyed the tutorial, and I will see you next time.